Okay, fam, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the NASDAQ and Bitcoin as well as the Grayscale Trust. So with that being said, let's get it. Okay, so I'm sure there's probably plenty of news catalysts that are coming up next week that we should all be terrified of, right? But the thing that I would be most concerned about is the quote Liberation Day that Trump's going to want to talk about on the 2nd, which I believe is a Wednesday. So yeah, it's on a Wednesday. Okay, so that's my primary concern with market news coming up this week. I'm gonna be completely honest at this point, based on how the technicals are. I would say likely what we're probably gonna end up seeing is a sell the rumor, buy the news. So when Wednesday the 2nd comes around, we may actually get a massive rally. Again, there's a couple of reasons for this. So number one is because the technicals look like absolute garbage right now. I mean, 5 out of 6 weeks have been red, which is kind of insane. I mean, this is the 5th fastest sell-off in stock market history, so it's been pretty brutal. That's the first reason is the technicals. Second reason is because when you think about it, I mean, Trump has been kind of on and then off and then on and then off, or at least it seems that way. That's how the market is interpreting it when it comes to these tariffs. And that's creating a ridiculous amount of uncertainty in the markets. And like I told you guys before, the markets absolutely hate uncertainty. Okay, if there is uncertainty in the markets for any reason, it will create either choppiness and or potentially downside. But if Trump comes out on Wednesday and says, oh yeah, well, this is exactly what it's going to be, there's no guesswork, here it is, and everything's just laid out and it is what it is, then perhaps the markets will rally on that, because again, the uncertainty piece is being taken out of the markets. Now we have certainty. We know what's going to happen, what to expect. And that may be where the markets decide to clinch and say, okay, now we're going to buy up. Now we're going to go higher because now we know what to expect. So because we know what to expect, we know exactly how to position, right? That's the kind of crux 22 the markets are in. So in my opinion, if we're going to see anything, it's probably going to be a sell the rumor, buy the news. I would be shocked at this point if we did not have another green week following this. Again, we do kind of have somewhat of a base information here too. These 3 candles are kind of all right at the same level. The only thing I don't like is this massive fat red candle at the bottom of this wick. That's extremely bearish, and it has pushed lower out of the bear flag too. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a slight sell-off at the first half of the week, and then we get a recovery later on in the week. That could happen. It's hard to say at this point exactly what's going to happen, but I suspect something along those lines. Okay, so let's see here. Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin briefly. Again, usually we do this in a separate video. But for today, just give you guys kind of an update on this. So as of right now, Bitcoin's still holding the 77,000 level, still has not broken out of this trend line. It tried to at 88,000 but failed on the daily. So we need to get a close above that, and then a close above this golden one up here at roughly about 98,000. As you guys can see, it has not broken above on the weekly time frame yet either. It's kind of just still chopping around in this area. Again, a break of those 2 trend lines will convince me that the bull market is going to continue to the upside. For now, it's holding above 77,000, but we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. So it wouldn't shock me if 77,000 was actually the bottom, because again, one of the reasons why I think this may be is because we have not broken below the red EMA, which is the 51 EMA. We didn't do it on the pullback in time during 2024, and for the most part, we haven't really gotten below that red EMA basically since the bear market bottom. We're pretty close to it, right? So once we got above here, above the red EMA, roughly about 26,000, we got that triple golden cross. That was it. It was pretty much above that red EMA the entire time since. So that may hold as well. Okay, so let's go over the Grayscale trusts. Yeah, I mean, yesterday's market session was pretty brutal. The NASDAQ and the S&P were down to like some 2% each, I think. Yeah, more than 2% each. So naturally, that's going to flow over into crypto, right? Unfortunately, there is some level of correlation. We just got to deal with it how it comes. So LTCN as of right now, still the buy zone is $6.90 to $8 here. I'm still looking at 54 for the first potential profit target. Of course, it's, you guys have your own positions here. You decide what's best for you. So 685%. Oh, there is one more thing I want to say. So there's been like a ridiculous amount of kind of scummy scammer comments lately in the comment section. So, guys, I don't know anything about that. Okay, I don't know what the coin is about or whatever it is they're talking about. It's probably some kind of rug pull scam. Please be careful. Don't fall for these kinds of things. They're all over the social media platforms. Unfortunately, there is soulless bastards out there that will try to do this to you. So please be careful. We will never actually we just bring the information. We're not going to do something like that. So that would never be us. I don't know who these people are. They're just maybe random scam bots or something. So again, please do be careful out there. So BCHG 240 to 280 here for support. Again, the target that we're looking at, the first one anyways, is right around 24 to 25. So roughly about a 900% gain. HZEN. So yeah, right around that $2 area. That's pretty much the area I told you guys about before. There is some structure here, so you can see it, the candle tops, and then of course the candle bottoms. So 140 up to 2, that's kind of where I'd be looking to pick this up. And then of course 10 and a quarter would be the first target here. 705% gain. And a lot of you might say, oh, well, this is garbage. It's not going anywhere, blah, 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 right? It's amazing what emotions can do to a trader or an investor when, exposed to the opposite direction of what one desires for a prolonged period of time. It really is. What I will tell you guys is this. When we were invested in this, we got in late 2023. I mean, the price is going back to right about those levels when we got in before the rip up. And then, of course, we took profits. So if you guys missed out on the opportunity anywhere back here, I mean, these opportunities are presenting themselves again. Again, I cannot make any decisions for you, cannot advise you, but I will tell you that, those of you guys that missed the opportunity back then, it is showing itself again. So 730, this is the level I'd be looking at for ETCG. Again, the first target is going to be right around 20 for about 170-ish%. ETH. So it's holding at the top of this box for now. I would say probably anywhere between 10 and a quarter going up to 1570 on this one is what I'd be looking at. And then the target all the way up here at 74 for about 620%. GBAT, man, this thing is just dirt cheap. My God. Okay. So yeah, I mean, just from this point, you're looking at 16x just to get back to the highs. Pretty insane. So once again, I'll reiterate the last time we got in was kind of right in this area. I don't remember the exact time we got in. It was like somewhere around maybe June, July to I think like September or October of 2023, and then we got out in 24. But you can see the price is pretty much right about at the same levels we were at before, so something to consider. And again, the next level I'm looking at here is roughly about 175. And 32, of course, is the target, the first one anyways, for roughly about 1,900% gain. FILG, so this thing, I don't know what the heck happened here, but man, this thing just fell off a cliff. So, sheesh. I mean, the volume on this thing that's a lot. That's a lot of shares. Okay, very big red volume bar there. So, it's pretty much tapping back into the bear market lows here. I mean, this thing is just ungodly cheap at this point. You guys, I mean, it's a pretty nasty looking candle. I wouldn't blame you guys for not wanting to get in, but again, the bear market lows were all the way down at 410, so you're talking only a few bucks below that. I mean, this is pretty much an asymmetrical bet, in my opinion. So you go from 7 to 400, you're talking like, God, I don't even know what that is. That's like a 60x return just to get back to the highs. Obviously, if it goes lower, it becomes even greater, right? So 5,900% gain. Again, you guys can do what you want to. Please do your own research on whatever you guys invest into. That's just common sense. So GLIV, anywhere in this green box, I would say 220 to about 7. We are on the box currently, 80 at the all-time high for the targets. So just from this point, it's roughly about a 12x, 1,147%. G-Links, so it's kind of bobbing around in between these two levels. I'd be looking at roughly about 22 as the next area to potentially pick some up. and 225 for the targets up here for about 1,000% gain. And again, this is structure, so you can see the candle tops up here for previous resistance, then flipped into support. So GSOL still holding that white line amazingly, especially after all these selling. But again, you guys are going to understand. Look, when the markets go risk off, the number one thing that they're going to get rid of first is the highest risk assets that are on the market. Okay. So the first thing that they're going to dump will be something like crypto, anything crypto related, and also maybe like small caps from the Russell 2000. Okay. And then they'll start offloading other things like mid caps, large caps, then they'll get rid of the mega caps and so on and so on, right? It's known as deleveraging or de-risking. And so am I surprised to see all this selling in crypto? Not really. I mean, it's pretty much par for the course. Like I told you guys before, I think what's really going on here is that Trump is trying to convince the Fed to go ahead and start printing money again and to do quantitative easing so the economy can go back into a boom and a bull run. In order to do that, the markets and the economy has to de-risk to a certain point for the Fed to say, okay, fine, we budge. We're going to give you your rate cuts now. Okay, so stop tanking everything. We're going to go ahead and print money. And then there it is, right? So that's kind of what I expect is going to play out. We'll see in the coming weeks and months if this is actually true, but I suspect this is the case. Okay, so 10 for support here on GSOL, and then the target would be 80 to, again, 115. One other thing I want to point out here, so 1,100%, is that it's possible that, we may end up getting the finality of the crypto bull run in the second half of 2025. That's possible that may happen. Again, they have some big, beautiful bill they want to pass with all these, deregulation and tax cuts and all that stuff. We still have that to look forward to as well. So, plus the cutting of the Fed rates, the tariff uncertainty out of the way. I mean, there's a lot of potential bullish catalysts that could show up any day now. I think it's possible that maybe the first half of 2025 not so great. The second half of 2025 could be absolutely fantastic for bulls. So that's pure speculation. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Okay, so GXLM here, 2360 is the next support level with the target being up at 69. You could even put it all the way up at 96, which is the previous all-time high, so about 305 or 195%. Mana, so nice big fat red candle. Personally, I can tell you guys right now, if I was going to do this, I would do this one of two ways. If I was going to look to position into these again, it would either be on a break and a golden cross above with potentially, in this case, it would have to have a retest to get into position looking for higher moves up, or a really, really large, fat, nasty looking red candle like this one. That would be what I would be looking for right there with large volume to get in. You know why? Because it tells me that somebody else paper hands and they got out of their position, and guess what? Somebody who's really looking to get these on the cheap is going to see that and say, maybe I'll take that from you. Thank you very much. At those cheap prices, of course, right? That's kind of what we're thinking with the NASDAQ and whatnot. That's the reason why we've been slowly but somewhat aggressively positioning into these markets over the last few weeks. And again, we're trying to be patient with this, but some of these guys are retail traders that are selling their positions at a loss. So that's something to consider. So anyway, Zcash, I'd be looking for anywhere between 2 to about probably 280 at this point for potential pick me up. And then the target still at 1050. 405%. And I know that the markets look kind of crappy right now. I don't blame you. It is a bit frustrating to have to deal with this, but like I said, it's starting to look more like 2020, 2021. I just saw a video not that long ago talking about Robinhood delivering cash to people's doorsteps, which is kind of crazy for customers or whatever. So, and I remember back in 2020, 2021, like Robinhood, like AMC and GME was all the hype, right? All these meme stocks going to the moon. through Robinhood and all that kind of stuff. And the Fed did quantitative easing. Again, this did happen under Trump, right? It happened under Trump. We saw a huge capitulation in the markets. And then the Fed came out and said, oh, yeah, something about inflation being transitory and we got to print money because, there's a pandemic and all that stuff. I mean, if you guys are really paying attention to what's going on in the markets, you would see that, and again, I'm not saying you're not, but you would see that the current economic and market conditions that we're currently seeing look a lot like 2020 and 2021. I'm just saying we could, this could be the pandemic dump 2.0, which then ends up leading to another massive 2-year bull run. It could happen. Again, 2020, we had a crazy dump in the markets, just stupid levels of sell-off, right? And then we had 2 years of a bull run. And then we had a 2022 bear market, and then we had 2 years of a bull run. So could it be that 2025 is the bear market year, or the first half anyways, and then we get another 2 years of a bull run going through the end of this year, next year, and 2027? Just something to think about. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.